Hello everybody! Today I'm going to be doing ribbon canes in my decorative stringer video series, number 5. So I'm going to make 2 different canes. There is such a huge variety of different colors and design elements you can use in these canes. It's just unbelievable. So you could just have fun with it and go crazy. But first I want to start off with making a flat rectangular paddle shape. This is what actually makes the ribbon inside the stringer. And so you want a fairly thin rectangle, and I'm making these kind of small. You can make them a lot bigger and end up with a lot more stringer, but I'm making them pretty small just for this video series. And I'm going to be striping on the 2 edges, the 2 outside edges, some little bit of medium transparent blue, and I'm using periwinkle blue for the core. And so I want to stripe that right around the whole edge, all the way around to the front. And I want to make sure this is all melted in fairly evenly and reshape into my little rectangle paddle shape, so it'll be all ready to be encased with clear. So this is a very simple ribbon cane, just it's 2 colors basically, the transparent blue and periwinkle, but I believe the transparent blue kind of disappeared in the final ribbon, so it was hard to see. But you can use any, I could have used a contrasting color, I could have used an opaque, it would have came out much more striking. But so I'm using the clear now, and what I want to do, I sped up this video here, I want to encase the sides first, and then I'm going to build up a lot of clear glass on either flat side of those paddles. And what I am trying to do is make this paddle shape into a 3-dimensional ball, like a basketball or a football. It depends how long your shape is. But I want to actually add enough clear on both of those flat sides to round the whole thing out and make it as wide in the flat side direction that it is in the width of the outside edges. So I'm going to make a total ball out of this. And this is what essentially gives you the ribbon spinning around, around, twisting around inside the clear glass core, or the clear glass section. And so you build it up and build it up until you have pretty much a symmetrical ball. I think I'm running out of clear there. I have to get my tweezers. I'm always running out of glass. I don't know why. I have so much of it. But anyway, so I'm just adding and adding clear. That's why I sped up this video so much. You can basically see what I'm doing, but it's a much faster process for you guys to watch than me slowly melting all this all the time and taking forever. So I think I might have about enough of a ball shape. That looks good. So it looks about as fat as it was wide when it was an original paddle. And so that's what we're looking for. So now I'm going to punty up with my transparent blue I used. And I'm going to pull out just like any other stringer. Except for this time I want to make a nice twist to it. And the trickier part of these is to actually get a nice even twist throughout. So you want the whole ball, see I'm pushing and pulling there, you want that whole ball nice and evenly heated to be able to pull out and twist that stringer into a nice cane. So here I go, I'm starting to twist, I'm doing it slowly, I want to keep my twists even. So if you pull faster, it's going to be a looser twist. If you pull slower and spin your hands, twist your hands, it'll be a tighter twist. So it all depends on what you want your twist to turn out looking like. And I'm just reheating the bottom there, getting a little more twist out of that bottom edge. And I got a little bit more. And then I'm just going to burn off and get rid of that lumpity part that I don't want. So I have a nice cane. And it broke off my holding rod. So this is the first simple ribbon cane. See, and you can't even see the darker blue really. But it's a nice little ribbon twist in there. And the next one, now I have this one really fast because you already seen one process, and this is basically the same thing. I believe I'm putting purple stripes, opaque purple, on the outside of these because the other one came out, it pretty much disappeared. The blue disappeared on that last one. So I'm putting purple, and I am going to do the same thing, encase with clear, after I get my paddle all reshaped to a rectangle. So first I start on the edges, and I cover that purple so it doesn't bleed around or anything. I always like to get the edges first. So I get all that purple covered, and that's basically all the clear glass you want to put on those sides. All the rest go on the wide flat sides when you put down the rest of the clear. See, it goes on that. And I'm trying to heat up this rod like as much as I can to lay down a whole bunch at a time. And I sometimes actually sit there and ball up a whole rod, and I can get almost the whole ball of glass that I need on in one go. But in this one, I'm not being so quick about it. So now I'm just building up the clear, Make sure I get a little ball shape. And you can make these a lot bigger so you have a lot more ribbon cane, but you better make sure your arms are long enough to be able to get that out, or have some kind of holding rod mechanism so you could put your holding rod in it and walk away and twist it. So that's the only issue with pulling out really long twisties. You got to make sure your arms are long enough. So on this ribbon cane, after I get all this clear on, I'm going to actually melt it all in and kind of barrel shape it out, just like we do with many other decorative stringers in these videos. And I am going to add some white stringer stripes along this twisted barrel. So I'll have some striping along the outside. And so you can add, you know, any color stripes. They could have been blue or black, but I'm just using white for some contrast. And so I'm going to add some little stripes of white right on top of the clear section. And I don't believe I put it where the stripes, where the darker purple stripes are. Just 3 stripes on either side of the clear section. So now you can do, you could put 1 stripe there, you could put a couple stripes. And I broke that one right off. And I got to pull it off. Get rid of the white that blobbed on there. And then I'll just pull out the rest of that white stringer there with a little help from the other end. So there we go. And so I'm going to melt these stringers so there'll be some white on the outside twisted around. And in my opinion for this one, I think I made the white stringers were a little too fat, so it hid a little too much of the inside of the ribbon cane when you look at it. But I really should have made them skinnier. But I just was working with a stringer rod I already had made, so I just left it at that. It still looks pretty cool though. So I'm just going to heat it up just like I did the last stringer or cane section. And this is going to be twisted out soon, I think. And we'll make a bead next with both of these stringers. So let the heat settle in and even out throughout. And now I'm starting to twist and pull, and just twist as fast or as slow as you want. You can see you get those nice, the white's coming in, so you could see that, the white around the outside. Makes a neat little effect. And so you could use a variety of colors, inside stripes, outside stripes, different layers of striping. It's all up to you what you want to do with these canes, but they're a lot of fun. So now I'm going to just take this holding rod off, melt that off. after twisting out to the end. And there you have that twisty cane. Pretty neat. So now we're going to make a bead with these canes. So I have my bead already pre-shaped. I believe this is a transparent blue bead. And so the first cane I'm using, which I'm getting the end nice and twisted off, nice clean twist off at the end. And I am going to twist this cane. I'm going to lay it on in a spiral around the bead, and I am turning the cane. Not sure if you could see my left hand, it's kind of off screen, but I am turning the cane as I am laying down the cane. And I have this part of the video also sped up about 25% faster, so it was a little slower than you see here. And then I broke it off. Isn't that nice? You can always fix this. It's not an issue. So I'm just going to twist off that section that broke off, twist it off into a little point, and then I'm going to take my rod and I'm just going to push it into that point and then continue twisting. It'll probably hardly even be noticed. And then I'm going to continue around to the last, sorry my dogs. Continue around to the last, and then now I'm speeding it up even faster, and I'm going to melt in all this ribbon around my bead. And so I could actually add another layer on top of this if I wanted to have my ribbon cane kind of like floating inside the bead. So I could have done that. I could actually put it inside an aquarium bead so it looks like, you know, water movement or something like that. I mean, there's a variety of ways you can use these canes, like an infinite possibility of using these canes. But I'm just going to leave this on the surface like it is. It kind of melts in because of the clear, but I'm going to leave it on the surface like that. And see, I was thinking about encasing it, and then I said, no, it looks too pretty like it is, so I'm just going to leave it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flatten it a little bit, kind of make it a flattened barrel shape. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm rounding out the ends to make them a little tapered at the ends so I can get a nice flattened shape out of it. And it'll kind of round out. And so I'm going to heat it up and mash it with my mashers. So there we go, mashing. Make sure you look at it to when you see I'm looking directly at the bead through the two sides of my mashers, so I can make sure that my mandrel is in the center of that bead. I always look directly into it. You want to make sure that your mandrel is in the center. You don't want your glass too thin on one side or the other. And so there's my little ribbon cane rounded. And now I'm going to take that other cane with the white stripings on it, and I'm going to just make a couple little ruffles on the outside edges with that cane. I was originally going to maybe do two separate beads with these, but then I'm like, oh, my video's already getting too long, so I'll just put both canes on one bead. So I'm just going to put some edging on here, and this is the ribbon cane I made with the white stripes, and I'm also twisting this one as I lay it down. So you could twist to have a larger twist. You could just lay it down and the twist will kind of loosen out from you just laying it down without twisting. So it all depends on how tight or loose you want your twist on your finished bead. But I wanted it fairly tight. So now I'm gonna melt these in pretty fully so that they're totally connected, and then I'm gonna mash them with my little tweezers, and I'm gonna like mash and twist a little bit to get a little bit of a ruffle kind of thing going on. So I mash and turn it, you know, mash and turn, and I do the same thing to, you know, every few millimeters, mash and turn it, mash and turn, and so I get like a little ruffled edge on it. It almost looks like if the ruffle was a little longer, it'd almost look like a piece of candy, wouldn't it? But and that one, I had a little too much glass there on that edge, so I just kind of pulled that off. And now I'm going to ruffle the other side. These would be really cute, actual candy looking things if they were made with, you know, like red and green for Christmas time. Be very cute. Or the blue like it is, huh, for Hanukkah. That'd work too. But yeah, infinite possibilities with these things. Love ribbon canes. They're always fun. And I think I'm almost done. I'm just very picky with my shaping. And then I want to just straighten it out a little bit so they're pretty even on the edges of the beads and they're not going wonky. Still too much glass on that edge for my liking. So I think we're pretty much done. And here's the final bead. Thanks for watching.